lot of the candidates will talk about spending. Remember, I'm on a city council, and I know that probably many of you read the Easy Reader, do you not? If you grab a copy of this week's Easy Reader, you'll see a 2-column letter from one of the sergeants on my police force attacking me personally because I am doing my best to impart a 2-tier pension system in Hermosa Beach. Now that has made me a target. I know you, one of you heard me speak about that at the beach cities. When you cross swords with the unions, it's a death match. And the reason that I did that is because I look at the numbers. It is not a political question. It is an arithmetic question. What can we do and what can we sustain over the long haul? We cannot do and we cannot sustain what we've been doing. And I feel, as an elected official, and by the way, I'm not worried necessarily about the next time I get elected. I'd sure like to continue serving, but if I don't, I'll salute smartly and go back to work. I'm not looking for the next soft place to land. I see it as my duty, as my obligation to stand up and say, enough. Ask every other candidate that comes up here when the last time they stood up to the union and said, enough. In fact, if you look, all of the other candidates are looking for the police endorsement. They're looking for the fire endorsement. I told them I didn't want it. I don't want it. Because I know what you guys are about. You're about more money. Unions are for the unions. They are not for you. Put that thought out of your mind. Put that thought out of your mind, ladies and gentlemen. They exist for the union. The union does not exist for you. It is not about public safety. It is not about your children. It is not about a better community. It is about somebody getting a retirement at 90% of their maximum year's salary at 50 years old. Who can do that? Who in here has that retirement plan? Tell me, because I want to come work for you. It is not possible. I've been bloodied with these guys, and I'll do it again. I'll do it again. Send me to Washington. Let's see. You watch. Now, like any good Ponzi scheme, Social Security was set up at a time when you could start collecting at age 65, but the average life expectancy of an American was 63. Something has to be done. We simply can't let that here. We're spending $3.5 trillion. If we cut all of the defense and discretionary spending, just cut it out tomorrow, we would still have a deficit. So people who tell you that we're going to cut our way out of this deficit just don't get the arithmetic. It's not enough. So we have to get we have to get control of the entitlements. And the last thing, and the most important thing, is we have to grow the economy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you all believe that government czars can pick and choose economic winners, and that we can borrow and we can borrow money from China and have those czars tell us where to spend it, and those are the things that we're going to do that are going to grow the economy, I'm not your candidate. I believe, as I'm sure all of you do, that the only way to grow the economy is through entrepreneurship and individual rights and freedom and the ability to go out into the marketplace and create something for your families and for your children and for your grandchildren. Politicians will stand here, and I predict you're going to hear this from somebody at some point along the line. Politicians will stand right here in front of you, and they will tell you all, I'm going to go to Washington, and I'm going to create jobs. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I heard that speech about a year ago when Mr. Obama told me that if I gave him $787 billion for a stimulus fund, he was going to go out and create shovel-ready jobs. How many of you remember shovel-ready jobs? How'd that work out for us?
I was shovel.
There's higher unemployment. There is higher unemployment today than there was then. Government does not create jobs. Hugo Chavez's government creates jobs. Fidel Castro's government creates jobs. The Soviet Union tried to create jobs for about 60 years, and we know that it just does not work. The only way that jobs are created are by unleashing all of you and your ideas and your enthusiasm and your skills to go out and to do the best that you can, because I believe that we have to do it. We simply cannot operate the government in a way that we all know in our hearts. We couldn't operate our households. I mean, who here believes that you can become a wealthier person by borrowing money? We all know that you can live beyond your means for a few years, maybe for a little while, but eventually the bills become due. So I ask you, Why is it that we send politicians to Washington who suddenly believe that those same economic principles don't apply to the nation as a whole? I consider myself to be a relatively educated man, but I still haven't heard anybody explain to me how they can bend the laws of economics just because the numbers get real big. I don't think you can believe that the only way to work our way out of this is to grow the economy, and government does not grow the economy. My friend John here is looking at his cell phone. It's not an iPhone. Anybody with iPhones in the room? iPhones, people with iPhones? Tell me which government program helped develop the iPhone. Right? It was a couple of guys who got together in their garage, literally, came up with an idea, Apple, and look where they got today. No government program was needed for that. How about Facebook? I mean, when you finally get down to the nub of Facebook, Facebook was a guy trying to meet women.
But he was successful.
You made 28 million of them.
But it worked. I know that all of you are well-considered people, educated folks who believe as I do, and that is a perfect example of Adam Smith's invisible hand at work, isn't it? One guy's motivation, which was not a sublime motivation by any means, and yet look at the wealth that it created. Look at all of the things that happened because of what he was trying to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that that is the only way that this country is going to survive, is if we turn all of you loose to make the economy grow. The government isn't going to do that. So, if you believe that America is an exceptional country, if you believe that the only way out of this is to grow the economy, if you believe that we're spending too much on government, I'm your candidate.